Jesus' words about the narrow door challenges us deeply. In a world that often values ease, comfort, and convenience, Jesus calls us to strive, to persist, to be intentional in our faith journey. This is not about exclusion, but about the seriousness of commitment and the urgency of repentance. The book of Isaiah paints a beautiful picture of God's plan to gather people from all nations, a vision of inclusion and hope. God is a welcoming host inviting the whole world into His kingdom. But then the narrow door reminds us that the invitation requires a response, a life turned towards God, marked by transformation, holiness, and perseverance. Salvation is a gift, but then it requires our active participation. Faith is not passive, it calls for effort, striving to live as Jesus taught amidst distractions and temptations. God's mercy is wide and expansive. The vision of people from every nation coming to worship reminds us that God's love transcends all boundaries, race, culture, and history. And another interesting thing is that trials and discipline are part of our growth. The letter to the Hebrews reminds us that God's discipline, though painful at times, produces righteousness and peace. So therefore, don't be complacent. The narrow door is a call to vigilance and urgency in your spiritual life. Don't assume the door will always be open. So today, let's ask ourselves few questions. Where do I need to strive more in my faith? Am I relying on shortcuts or superficial faith instead of a deep, committed relationship with God? And how do I respond to God's loving discipline in my life? Therefore, ask God to help you persevere through challenges and to walk faithfully through the narrow door. Trust in God's mercy and welcome others to the feast. God's invitation is open and it's open to all, but entering the kingdom requires effort, commitment, and trust.